Hey, creative lost souls. Today I want to talk about being in the creative groove and overcoming creative blocks. So I remember when I was 24, living in Melbourne, I was putting together some chords. I was making music all the time. Just putting together some chords on a whim, and the arrangement really fell into place. And I started laying down this flute melody, which just came out. Everything was right. It was effortless. So I thought I'd had a breakthrough that my hours of practice had created, like the intuition that I needed to make music at the next level. But that was it. That was the first and last time I've been in a groove like that. I'll throw a link to the track. I'm actually really proud of it. So now, 20 years later, when I want to create something, even with a great idea in my head, I feel like I'm facing a 10,000 foot high wall and that I'm standing in a muddy swamp, unable to move my feet. I feel so scattered and foggy, and it isn't until I get started that things start to take shape all by themselves and I can get into it. I don't know why it's so hard to start creating. A couple of years ago, I decided to make an album. The process started off okay, but finishing tracks was just like so hard. I knew I had more music in me, but getting it out, yeah. I got there in the end, even if it was just a 4-track EP. But yeah, it was much harder. So it's not always easy to be a creative who, creates. But it's important to keep trying and to develop the strategies you'll need to move past these blocks and up and over these cliffs. Here's one thing that can help. Being socially creative or creatively social. This is one area where being around other people would help. For introverts like me, it can be painful, especially when it's, you've just met people and you're just getting to know them. But bouncing ideas around between people is a great way to get things flowing creatively. So I tend to do things alone, and I really want to change that, and I've been trying to for a long time, but I don't know anyone who's interested in the same things I am. When I put the feelers out, it's kind of a dead end, and then I guess I resigned myself to working alone. So a similar kind of thing, which is nowhere near as good, is I kind of hate AI in the creative process, but one good use for it is prompts. So when I use AI text-based, I don't ask it for answers to questions. I don't want it to tell me what to do. I might feed it something and I'll ask it to throw me back a bunch of questions about it so I can expand on it. And I've done just that with this video here. And so the questions kind of just like spark something and I can riff on it and off I go. But having someone else would be way more fun. So if you know people with the same interests as you, please get them involved in your creative process. So ideas are greater than ability, but experience equals confidence. So I always say that not being an expert or not being experienced shouldn't stop you from starting whatever you want to do. But confidence is important. When I want to make some music or a game or do a painting or whatever, I know there are going to be moments where my lack of mastery in all of these mediums is going to be a problem. So I'm constantly Googling things about Unreal Engine or Final Cut Pro or Logic Audio. Without Google or without the internet, I would be like totally lost in all these things. So although a lack of ability should never hold you back, on the other hand, a bit of confidence will be really useful in facing up to that wall. So it doesn't need to be rational confidence. You can beat your way through with willpower. You just need some kind of self-belief to get you moving. And having some experience is probably, you have a rational mind as well as your creative mind, right? So having some experience will help you believe that you will be able to do it. And on that, doing more things more often will help you build up this experience and the confidence. So I confess I go way too long between projects. I tend to just want to do big, impressive, scary things that I procrastinate on. So what I should do instead is like set little tiny itty bitty creative tasks, knock them on the head and start pumping my vision out into the world. It's kind of scary for a different reason. I'm worried about having a nonsense all over the place brand. But I think all in all, it's much better to just make things, get them out there, see how it feels, see how the world responds, rinse and repeat, and gain confidence. Finish your shit is kind of a motto of mine. I've brought it up before. It's easier with smaller projects. If you don't have what it takes for like a full video, publish a short. If a novel is scary, start with a short story. If you don't know how to start your screenplay, write the end or the middle. Well, okay, that wouldn't be finishing it, but you get the idea, I hope. You can turn your bite-sized projects into bigger ones later. Use them for inspiration or riff on them. That's how many of the greats work, like such as Tolkien. Your space affects you. A lot of the time I work in mess and I wonder why I can't focus. There's an element of truth in every cliche, like surround yourself with things that bring you joy. This could be music, art, anything that has ever deeply inspired you. Things that seem to touch your soul at one time and another. They didn't actually add anything new to you. They reflected something that was already inside you, but maybe dormant, or that you didn't know how to express. So you recognized it in the outside world. So for me, I love Studio Ghibli movies because they allude to like a magical world with these wonderful, forthright and kind characters. And it feels really personal to me. So that's a good example of something that sparks joy, and I have posters around my room to remind me of those feelings. I know it's cliche, but it helps me bring the joy out of myself into the world around me and is very conducive to creativity. I mean, how you do that, it's going to be unique to you. It could be punk music or anything. So what brings you joy? Trying to remind yourself of that, because you're just reminding yourself about the good things inside yourself. So talking about like your creative space, the relationships in your immediate environment, especially with a partner if you've got one, are crucial. It can be really hard to create your best work when things are off emotionally, and relationships can do that. Even the best ones at times. So creativity depends on your headspace to a large extent. And when you're sad or dejected, you're just not going to be making things that are helpful. Everyone's life is different, but just do your best in your relationships to keep them positive. If you know you're a creative person and your partner doesn't value you for that, well, there's a conversation you need to have. Look at how your partner wants you to improve and, look at how you can do that. If it's not a direction you want to head in, let them know and let them choose. Nothing is perfect, especially a relationship, but at the end of the day, we all have our karma, and if you're not ready to throw in the towel, just, keep giving it your best. How do you overcome creative blocks? Let me know your strategies, things you've learned. Cheers.